Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to another edition of Awesomecallstrading.com. It is February 28th, the last day of the month, 2019. And what can you say? What do you say about today? Just a lot of fun. It really was. I enjoyed today very much. A lot of winning trades. If you recall, yesterday we're going to go over a trade by INGN, and I was trading that live, and I told you I was holding some, and I was looking for 110 on it. And I did overnight the stock, and the stock, you'll see a little later, hit 110. Before the close, it was like probably 1 minute before the close, I started adding my position because the stock was holding up at 105.50 to 106, very firm. And I took an overnight position, and all I needed was to pop out of the gate. And it was already gapping up to 108.50 this morning. So it was a really wonderful trade. But today I'm going to start with a stock called Billy. Um, Billy was an earnings play, and last night before the close, about 12:15 Pacific time, which is 3:15 Eastern in New York, I go over earnings, and I go and I hand pick certain ones that I think are going to actually do well. And what I do is I look at the option and put buying activity. I look at the history of the chart. I look at the history of the past performances on the earnings. I look at how they trade. There are about 10 elements I do actually live in the chat room in front of everyone. And then I evaluate and then I give the call. And then I take a position. These are things that I love to do. If I like something like tonight, I'm going to go ahead and take a position overnight and kill it. Um, so last night, out of all the things I went after was Billy. I didn't want Carvana. I felt that Carvana had already made a move prior to the earnings and was already getting bought up. So I took a chance, and even though the stock is up, it really crashed all the way down to $36 a share. So if you were holding at 42, 43 into close, you would have most likely got shaken out. And I'm glad that nobody got hurt on the trade. I couldn't convince myself to go long Carvana, and I don't regret it because in hindsight, yeah, the stock is back up, but there's a big chance. What if it didn't go back up? And because that stock had crashed really hard, 4 points just right at the bell, and that would have been devastating to a lot of traders that would have got out and got shaken out. So, but last night, the one I picked was Billy for everyone in the chat room. And what I did is, okay, obviously the put and call ratio was in my favor, so I felt there was a lot of anticipation the stock was going to go long, that it was going to beat, and based on the action that I saw. But then I started looking on a 1 year chart on Billy, and I started analyzing the high it hit in a year. I started looking at all the charts as far as where the stock, how it reacted on every earnings, and I would read it. And did it pull? Did it pop? What's the history? And then I had to range it, like when earnings do come out, where does the stock end up going? What can I lose? 2, 3, 4 points, 2 points, 3 points. So last night I made the evaluation in front of everyone that Billy not only would beat, but my risk was going to be 2 points to the downside, and I would probably get two to the up based on what I evaluated. So going in 250 shares, I felt that either I'm going to lose 500 or make 500. It's one or the other. And I went long at $19.82, and I pulled the trigger. Everyone heard it. I was in it. And what I did while I was hiking, I put a limit order in at 21 to sell, and it hit. So I wish I could have waited a little bit longer, but I was down with that. It's nice to make money after a beautiful day yesterday. Um, so the stock ended up going up to $21.50, 60 cents to save. So if you bought at $19.82, again, where I was thinking was I was either going to lose two or make two, and we all, pretty much almost cleared 2 points this morning. So hats off to that trade. Seriously. I mean, seriously. And so what I did is once it hit, I told traders in the morning, look for a gap fill sell off to 20 and under, or 2020 or 20 and under. But this stock ended up, I mean, it just plowed. And, even though you could have shorted 1,000 shares, there was no buyer in sight in 2020. There was nothing going on. This is what you actually call a falling knife. I mean, this was a falling knife. And what we had determined in pre-market when it was falling was right here. If you go back, I think it's 6 months out. Actually, we had to go out a year. I'll show you. No, it was actually right here. Yeah, right here. I think we spotted it. This buyer here, he had that volume at 5 million shares. When it was started to pull, we immediately pulled up the chart. We determined this stock would probably base right here off this seller right here. And so we called along, right at that spot. And it turned out to be a nice bounce. We called it 1860 long, and it ended up bouncing all the way through, I think it was $19.40. So that was, thank you, Janny. Wow, Janny just said great trade, AJ. So we got it basically, it was a great call to the long side into earnings, and it was a great call to the short side on profit taking because you had a lot of bag holders that were holding. And what I mean by bag holders, look at the last 20 days. These are bag holders. And the first thing they wanted to do when the market opened was sell their stock. And that's what they did. And that's why we got a great play on that. So I hope to repeat that tonight on another good trade, but that's the one we picked. Okay. The next trade that we did this morning was JD. Now, JD, um, what can I tell you? I've been trading 15 years. JD's been out, what, 5 to 7 years? And unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way on JD that how it reacts to worthy news. And I'm talking an upgrade, Alibaba vesting 50 million shares, um, analyst calls, issues with the CEO at the time. Um, but what I realized on earnings for the last few years that is every earnings gets sold off because there's so much stock. There's so many bag holders on the stock that are holding for a great earnings. I want you to look at this call. You know, I I I get praises almost every day for the quality trades I put out and the ideas and the accuracy. But this one stood out. Okay, and I'll show you. In pre-market, um, Billy popped on volume. Sorry, I must have liked it. Was on screen for too long, Didi. So, oh, he's going long. He's going long. All the chat rooms. He's going long. No, I was just going over uh, the trade itself. But anyway, let me show you JD. JD, I wrote in my notes, was very clear. This is gapping up 4. I like to see this simply sell off today, any pop to 30 to add, and this will come down to 26.50. This was the second trade I wrote. Gapping up 4. Take short. Add on any pop to 30. The stock will go to 26.50. So you traders in the room that go AMD, Facebook, Nevada, AMD, Facebook, Nevada, and you made money on your MU for 30 cents. Wow, so impressive. Oh my God, can't believe it. You bought puts for 30 cents on a MU pull. Woo! Anyway, let's go back to reality. So JD was gapping up 4, and I'm calling 26.50. What does that mean? It means you could short 500 shares pre-market, add on the pot to 30, another 200 more, size in, and take this baby down at 26.50 and go enjoy the rest of your day. This one, you really have to understand what it's like to trade with a pro. Okay. Not some hot shot that learned the business over 2 years and had a good year and all of a sudden now he's running a room. No. Okay. This is professional day trading at its best. Now you want to see the chart? Remember that 26.50. Okay. 26.50. Oh, and by the way, this is only one trade. So for you people that are taught every day to do 97 trades and 20 cents, and that's the way you're being taught, I want you to see what it's like to take 1,000 shares with one trade and how much money you can make. And I bet if you do it our way, you might not only make more money, but you also have less stress. You ready? Short pre-market, room to 31. I'm $30 and take it to 26.50. And the stock hit 26.58. Where the fuck do you want me to send your 8 cents? Okay. You want me to send it to your little studio apartment? Huh? Or your mom's basement? If you're trading outside this room, that's where you're living. Or for my traders that live in their beautiful homes and nice condos and penthouses, they don't need the 8 cents. Okay. They're just like, whatever. You see that? See how it found the bottom? This is trading stocks beyond a whole nother level. You're on a next level in here. Seriously. This is next level trading. If we weren't so awesome, I'd probably call the room next level because it really is. All right. The next stock that we had was RTDA. Now, this was a great short this morning. I looked at the news and they're basically in pre-market. They made the news that, and I'll show you the previous day, which is sitting down here at 5.25. RTDA is a former runner. All right. And this particular stock, the way I looked at it was they decided that they're going to get in the weed business and do some stuff in it. So it's a way to get volume in the stock, do an ATM, get cash out, yada, yada, yada. So when it hit the nines this morning pre-market, I kind of told traders on this one, go ahead and short the stock, and take it down. I do like to see a six gap. And so I prepared the traders to start in around 820, and then give it room to, I told them, give it room to 880, which is this flag right here, this area right here. 'Cause I saw some resistance there. And just scaling the short. So short, add on the pop, and then look for a pull. And literally, you could just see within a minute or 10 minutes of the open, the stock plowed to seven, and then we got a bottomed out. And a lot of traders capitalized on that were waiting for that. Once I saw this curl starting to form and support, once I saw the buyers, see these three buyers here, I knew the stock was in play for an upside move. So I backed off on the short, told everyone to cover. That was in the 820s, 830s, cover, and let's revisit it. Okay. I didn't trust the stock. And this is kind of a stock that I don't trust. There's different, when I look at a stock, some of them I trust to go upside. They're more stronger. But I'm watching the market makers, how they're trying to shake out. And they're doing a lot of shaking out here. And when I mean shake out, they're dropping 40 to 50 cents on pulls. And that's kind of massive shakeouts. They're trying to get the weak hands out. But I just simply followed the buyer. And once the buyer hit this area here, I felt very confident that even if it filled the gap, this 1 million buyer was going to take it up higher. And he did. And Fire, myself, and with the great dark side on the mic, we were able to walk this thing up and not get shaken out all the way up to $10.40. And at this point, I won't buy it. I won't even look at it. I'm not telling anyone to short it either. I'd leave it alone, let them grind it out for an ATM, and then they could pull it to six. But I think this was a well-read stock, and we did very, very, very good as a group. The next trade that we did was INGN. Now, this one yesterday, you heard me live on the mic that I stopped everything and I went long. If you all recall, I went long right here and I just saw massive momentum. Now, again, this is one of those that I would have went in, no question, 500 shares at $101 a share. This was beaten down over 40 points from the previous close. And I knew that the 100 mark was going to be where they were going to come in. And you know how I also knew? That buyer right there, right there. I looked at that spike and boy, there was no looking back. And I came in the room, as you could tell the timeline at 10:51, and I had missed it. But based on what I was watching live on the webinar uh, with you, all of you, as I felt the stock had momentum. It was going to make a move to 110 yesterday. So I was going to hold overnight, and you could see me adding on dips and pre-market down here. You could see these are kind of me right here. See these? Well, not all of me, but I was just adding. I just put in an order and got filled. I just felt that this stock would hit 110. It was just, it not only a gut feeling, it was just from a technical standpoint, I felt this area would get filled right here from yesterday's sell-off right there. You see it? This was the area I was looking for right there. I felt it would curl all the way around to this 110. And I have to tell you, I put in an order to sell this morning at 108.50 and it hit and everyone heard it. And I was pretty much done with my day. And it was so much fun. And then the stock ended up going to 110, 110.30. And then I'm done with it. As far as me buying it again, I would not buy this unless it goes to 105 or under. And the volume is kind of thinned up. But I do think, from a trading standpoint, I do think this ends up going back over to 120. So if you're listening to this webinar, I don't see any harm buying, maybe 118, 2 week calls out, a week call out. I think you probably get 116, 114 to cash out. Depends on how cheap they are. But I do think this will probably settle around the 114, 116 area eventually and just kind of be done. So that was a nice one. The next one that we did was Box. Now, Box got beaten down pretty hard today in last night's earnings, but and you could see it was a $25 stock. So I got up at 3:30 this morning and I'm looking at the poll and I'm going, okay, they really supported this 18, 19, 18, 15, 19 area pretty hard. So I don't see anything going down lower than 1850. So I'm going to put out a call to go long at 19 this morning. And I'm looking for a room to 21 on the stock. I want to fill this gap here, which is pretty damn close at 2050, 2068. But I really want to get 21 on the stock. And the next thing I had to do was I had to analyze the stock itself. So again, I go to my scan, I punch up box, as normally all the traders in the room do, and I just started looking at valuations from the underwriters. So I have 27, I have downgraded to neutral here, I have 19 at Morgan, um, I have 25 at DA Davidson, Concord's 24. Um, just looking down. Morgan is the lowest. Raymond James is 24. So this told me that I got a bounce coming in the stock. Why? Because I've been trading 15 years. I understand how to read through the analysts, what they're trying to say. I had to put Morgan Stanley aside and say, look, I know you want 19, but that's not going to really happen for today, not for today. So I'm going to go off and call out a $21 on the stock. And that's really what I was going to call. So if you look at my pre-market notes on Box, I did not want you to short the stock at all. There was no short in the stock. I simply said on Box, nibble long 19, add to 18, have an 1850 average, and go to 21. And that's it. That's it. That's the trade. And again, I just want you to make money. So if you're buying at 19 and I'm telling you 21, you're like, man, I can make a point and a half with size. 500 shares, 1 point, $500. 500 shares, 1 point, $500. Instead of going Nevada, AMD, Facebook, Nevada, AMD. Why don't you do that? $500, 1 point, 500 shares, 1 point, $500. 500 shares, 1 point, $500. Say that instead. So much easier, right? So take box, go for it, all right? Ripster wants to know, can we make a song? You gotta check with the room. Anyway, so here's the 19. You see how it touched 1910? Pre-market, you could have got 19 when I was writing my notes right here. See that 19? And then take it to 21, 2040, 2050. Not too bad, huh? Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. That was a nice trade. Next one is a stock called TDOC. Now this one really shocked me on the $70 hit. But in pre-market, I felt this would gap fill at least to, I think I said traders long at 62 to 66 or 65. I knew it would pop. I just felt that this gap would get filled and they would probably just fill the gap. I don't know. Certain stocks I can look at and go, this one's going to squeeze. I think they're going to squeeze. I think there's too many shorts in this. I think that they made it. Remember we talked about when a stock misses. Remember we talked about that yesterday, and a stock misses, but there's an overwhelming, um, call buying on it. You know, and if it misses, typically it'll just squeeze really straight up on something like that, so all the call buyers could still get their money out. We look at that now, and I evaluate each trade now a little bit different when I'm looking like, okay, what was the call activity yesterday? Since they missed, this tells me they're going to probably buy it up, like Grub, 67 back to 83, from 83 to 67. Do you remember that? Stock's sitting what, at 88 now? Remember that? Grub taught me so much for me to teach the room. And so on this one, I felt it was going to make a push at the open, and I really wanted to short the stock. I want you to see the call on it in pre-market. I like this to go long pre-market and bounce to $65 level. See the 65 level? Okay, again, I want this to go long, all right, and bounce it to the 65 level or more, and then shred it. Well, one of my great traders in here, Joel, I love Joel. He just waited. I mean, this he was like a sniper today. He saw this and he's like, holy crap. So when this went straight up, he just did like two market orders and got filled here and here. And his pull, he was done. He yanked it 6 points on the pullback. He couldn't believe the money he made. And it was that simple. And then not just Joel, but there was a lot of traders that took it. Now, if you had waited for the 65 level, which is what I wanted down here, and you added, you still would have banked. Even at 65, you still would have banked 2 points to the downside. So it was still a very good call, even at 65, but had room to add. Because this was just a short, quick squeeze, and then this right here was defining it was going to pull. That was just, oh, what a beautiful trade. What a beautiful trade. Seriously. All right. And then there was, I have to give props to, I believe it was Fire this morning on HZNP. And I also think I also want to thank Raphael on Billy. A lot of you know that I speak to Raphael as a moderator in here, tremendous value. He's been really an advocate long Billy for a long time when it was in the 10s, 12s. And I just have to give a shout out to him because he stayed long into earnings. I do believe he cashed out, but when it hit 21 or more, but really a proud trade because he had held that and swung that for a long time when nobody was buying it. And he's every time he comes in, he mentions Billy at 13, 14, 15, and being bought up into earnings. And he anticipated, and he actually, to be honest with all of you, he was like my final straw to convince me to go Billy long because of the way he read the stock. And he said, "I'm long with you, AJ," and that made me even more comfortable because like people have confidence in me, I have confidence in the group of people I trade with. So, and I don't, win, lose, or draw. Even if I lost, I would have loved Raphael what he did because he really helps me. Okay, HCNB. What I wanted to do on this one was I really kind of wanted to short the stock on a phase three, and the reason why typically is HCNB has a lot of bag holders that typically like to sell off, but I do believe an ATM is coming. And when I saw it started to rip in pre-market, we were sort of starting to short the stock. You can tell right here. And I was making notes about it that I kind of wanted to take it down. And I believe it dropped 50 cents to a dollar on it on ACMB. I like to look for topping on this and then gap fill it back to 23. If this rushes out of the gate to 28, watch for topping and fade it. I did think it had room to run, but I kind of really wanted the feel. So I told traders, be careful first before getting in there, and then we can short the stock. Well, the reason why this worked out so well is because it did run through 28, but also have to give props to Fire because once it pushed, I was watching pre-market. I'm sorry, at the open. I said, all right, traders, this is going to run. and look for the 28 level to short. And if you want to look how it ran and pop, 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 and look at the 28 level here. See how the 28 level kind of found itself and then pulled. So it was a good call overall, but when it was started to make its move, Fire Trader '05, a great guy, Brad, he felt it had room to 30. And so I kind of told traders scalp trade it at this point, scalp short it, but don't really go too crazy because if Fire thinks 30, and Raphael possibly thinks 30, it'll probably end up right around 30. So, but I do think they'll do an ATM offering within 48 hours. They did a nice volume. I think they'll probably pull in, maybe 8 million shares at 25 or 24 a share, be able to cash out. The higher it stays up, the less amount of shares they'll do. So that'll be cool. And last but not least, I do want to give one last call before I close out today. And the stock was called Ruby. And Ruby was an earnings win last night. And I just wanted my short sellers to get a quick, little paycheck. It was gapping up in pre-market. And I'll make a mention. I don't need to do a chart on it, but as you can see my notes in pre-market, it was actually the first trade I started writing this morning, right in front of everyone. I like the six area to go short and go down to $5.30. You see that? That's it. A lot of back holders, I realized. I looked at it and oh, this is going to go to 530. So if you want to take 1,000 shares at six, you make $700. So if you want to look at the stock opened up right here, just under six. There was some little bit you couldn't. It was really hard to get that six if it popped. If it popped, I would have wanted you to, but look where it ended up, $5.38. So turned out to be a decent short, to say the least. 1,000 shares, 30 cents, 40 cents, one trade, not like short here, 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 10 cents. I'm a hero now. Look at, I'm gonna do a chart, selling you my subscription service, give you a DVD, and there we go. Sorry, sorry. Um, but anyway, that was just a kind of an trade, it's notable. Anyway, hey, so that's the recap today. Billy, JD, RKDA, Box, TDOC, INGN, and HZNE. And I hope I can pick a winner tonight because I am in the mood. I'm in the groove. I made a lot of money, and I want to do one more. I want to do one more great earning call tonight. So I'm going to do my homework live in front of everybody in 15 minutes and present another opportunity. If it's there, I'm going to take it. Okay? I love you all. I appreciate you for joining us. Again, there's so much information out there. These live webinars are free to listen to. Just click on your YouTube and you can see them all lined up here. And feel free to listen to any of them as much as you want, as often as you want. And, 92 views, 89 views, 88. I'll see YouTube's update there. And then you have also, if you want to join a lot of these traders, we've got a lot of new signups this morning that came in for monthlies, and really thank you for giving us an opportunity. We helped a few traders make a few bucks right away to cover their monthly subscription. But we also have a Discord run by the Great Dark Side, and all the mods are in there. They talk to you, they help you. There's so much stuff going on in there, and our goal is to get it over 1,000 members. And currently, right now, there's 838 members with 185 online. And so we're just building, building, building. Hopefully, we'll have 900 by next week. And March, we're going to shoot for 1,000 members or more. So, and you can talk to any of the communities in there. It's free. Just sign up, and Darkside will make sure you are ready to go. So, and that is our Discord. And here is the link on any of my tweets that I put out. Okay. So with that being said, I want to thank you for joining us on February 28, 2019. I hope you had a great February. March is going to be an incredible month of growth for Awesome Calls Trading. We're going to get a lot of new subs. A lot of great things are happening, and it's going to be exciting. We're going to make a lot of money. I think it's going to be a breakout month for a lot of new traders, old and new. And I do want to say one last thing. I want to welcome back a trader in our room. Um, just a really great guy. His name is Humble, and Humble Trading. He was with me 5 years ago when I first started the room in 2015, and he has recently came back. Um, he went to a lot of other chat rooms, and he 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 kind of fell off the wagon in a sense that he was making some really bad decisions in his trading and so forth. He loved the room, but he decided to take some time off, and he went to a couple other rooms and he realized, no, I want to get back into it. And and he did. And he came back and he signed up and he's here, and just want to welcome him back after all these years. It just shows you the stability of our room, how long we've been around, and just knowing you can come back anytime you want, to a great room. It's never going anywhere. And that's really what I love about Awesome Calls Trading. It's just, we've been in the business for a long time, been doing this for a long time, and we'll continue to do it and make people money. Okay? Day trading stocks. So you take care and be well. Follow me on AJ Trader 7, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, traders? So thank you for joining.